Hey, I'm Cameron, and
I'm Ryan.
we are the Harbor Knots. This is our first video. Very janky setup right now in living room of my brother's apartment.
Shh! Don't tell him where I'm at.
With tables and chairs, tables and chairs, and lights. Oh my!
This is our quarantine center.
Obviously in quarantine, following Washington's rule of no more than 10 folks together. And
social distancing.
we were bored, and everyone's saying, you need to wash your hands and don't go anywhere. Wash your hands, stay in the house and wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
We want to know, what do you do between washing hands?
Wash your hands.
We came up with a dozen things to do in quarantine. We wanted to share them with people, and then maybe you can expand on this list. So let's jump into it.
In no particular order.
No, yeah, this isn't like a top 10 rating system. We're just bored and we want things to do.
Number one thing we could do.
Reading. You have a backlog on your shelf, I am sure. I'm sure you have a backlog on your shelf. I do.
I want to explain what a backlog is to most people.
We're going to say that word a lot. Backlog is the things that are on the back burner. The things you have, they've been there, you've been meaning to get to, and now you have the time. And I know some of you have kids, but you have the time to do some of this. So I've been reading Claustrum by James Slater. Great author and a friend of the family. Busting my butt to read through this book to get into the prequel, Dirt.
Ooh,
D-U-R-T. Yeah.
Huh.
He sent it to me in the mail and
Lucky
sent me a little note.
Bastard.
And I mailed him back. He folds, James Slater, if you're seeing this, he folds his own letters. Folds the envelope himself out of paper. It was cool. So definitely reading that. It's available on Amazon. Also, catching up, I recently have got into Audible.
Audible.
I had to think about that.
What is Audible?
It's part of Amazon, like their reading program.
So just audiobooks.
Audiobooks, yeah.
Yes.
So you can listen to the books. So I've started a library of Audible books. The first book I got was Samuel L. Jackson's Go to Sleep.
Great book.
And
Look it up. If you guys have not seen it, he does a reading of it on YouTube. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I'll listen to it sometimes to go to sleep.
I got it on the Kindle too, to read along while... Before everything happened, back in October, we went to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
And I got it for the plane ride to Disneyland. Also on Audible, going through Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Stephen Fry reads this one. Martin Freeman, who played Arthur Dent in Hitchhiker's movie, he reads the rest of the Douglas Adams books for this series. And yeah, plenty of books. Some Heinlein, some Asimov.
I haven't been reading.
Lord of the Rings. You have some books.
I have a lot of books.
Ryan got some books for his birthday.
I did. I got Star Wars, the whole trilogy, plus a book. I can't remember the name of it now, but it's like
the Mind's Eye.
Yeah, it's basically what it is the George Lucas didn't think that Star Wars was going to explode like it did.
Mm-hmm.
And so after doing the first one, writing down the story, he basically commissioned out to anybody to write the next story to go along before there was Empire. And so this book actually, it's completely different in the series, and it changes the whole attitude of the Star Wars saga, basically. But yeah, it goes on a whole different tangent.
You start that one yet? Are you
Not
in it
yet.
We got time.
Yeah, we got time. I can start into it any time now. Number 2 thing would be listen to albums. A lot of people out there like to listen to music. I myself, I'm a musician, do tons of music stuff all over.
Something you used to do with your roommate.
Oh yeah, we used to listen to albums every day. Every Sunday, actually, it would be we call them our smoking Sundays. We had a little area where that was set up where we'd sit, put on an album, and just sit there, talk, and listen to albums.
What's the most recent one you've listened through?
So right now, currently, I was actually looking that up. A professional rapper by Little Dicky. He's got a new show out called Dave. It's on FX. on Hulu too. For being in quarantine, a really great thing to do is subscribe to a lot of those
if you can.
things. Yeah.
We know
So,
a lot of people are at work. But
Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. Some of the movie theaters are even you can pay a certain amount of money and you can actually see the movies that are supposed to come out in the theaters too. You can pay like, I think it's like $15 and you get a 48-hour basically rental
on a streaming service.
Yeah. For album wise though, I've been listening to Slipknot. I mean, that's an essential one for me. Essential band, actually. Been listening to a lot of different metal bands. Convent is a new one that I just discovered not too long ago. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to do a quick shout out. I'm also the host on Rock Paper Metal. That's a podcast that I have with one of my other friends that we do, and we talk a lot about metal music, do interviews and stuff. Actually had Kameron on here once.
One episode.
Talk about Starset, which is another great band we've seen. I'm just kind of going through anything really right now. I mean, like I said, Little Dicky, he's a rapper, so I have all different taste in music and stuff. So go out there, listen to all your albums that you got, or listen to some music.
Yeah.
Find some new music out there.
New one for me is Orville Peck.
Orville Peck is.
Have you heard him?
Different.
Oh man, cool.
I've listened to a couple of his stuff. It's kind of it's very different.
So buttery. He's like my friend Adam Cooper. Shout out Adam. Was on
I know Adam.
Yeah, he comes into the shop at Have a Heart. He says he sees you more than he sees me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet that's true. He showed me Orville Peck. We went to see our friend Trey right before quarantine, just to say hi. The salon's shut down. All of Washington is shutting down to avoid, hopefully to avoid becoming as locked down as Italy is, but it feels like any day we could be there.
Yeah, right now the governor has put out saying he was not going to do the shelter in place, which that would make it to where everybody has to stay home except for the essential workers, so grocery workers, people at gas stations, pharmacies.
Right.
In that sense, he has given us basically a second chance by saying that people do not travel or go on vacation to the oceans or anywhere else. This is not the time to do it. It's a time to stay home. It's a time to be there for everybody, be there for all humans, because you don't know if you've got it, and it could be 2 weeks of not showing any symptoms, and all of a sudden it happens. The less exposure to the public right now, the better for us.
Yeah, it feels weird going in the stores right now. Like, even to get like the essential, I had to get some yeast so we could make some bread and stuff, and it was just going in for that, and like how the aisles are not more than 6 feet wide.
Yeah,
and so you are like right immediately next to someone.
And if you do have to go out, take the precautions. Wear gloves. Have hand sanitizer. If you need to, have masks.
Wash your hands.
A lot of those supplies, we're deprived of them right now because you have idiots going out there buying all it is there and storing up.
I saw a tweet about the toilet paper. A coronavirus Twitter, and it said, "What? Everyone's buying the toilet paper. You're not gonna me out."
Yeah, I don't.
It's not that kind of thing.
I don't understand why everybody's buying up TP.
I don't know. It's not a diarrhea disease or anything like that. I don't know if people, maybe, because Kleenex is gone too, but maybe people go to the toilet paper first for their Kleenex. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Be mindful for everybody else out there.
Yeah.
Take only what you need. Do not hoard up. Remember, you have other families and friends out there that need this stuff too.
That guy who bought all the hand sanitizer and then he marked it up to sell it on Amazon.
Oh yeah.
He got in trouble and then he had to donate it.
Trouble and he has to donate it, and I think he's facing some jail time too.
Oh man.
So do not do that, please. Listen to music instead.
Listen to a
Learn
new
an
album.
instrument.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a time. Find a guitar.
My friend David was talking about that, and then he's gonna go back to the acapella app where you could do.
Oh yeah.
You can like collab with other people and then like put your videos in squares. Shout out David Mills.
Woo!
Up next, play your backlog of video games. Again, those games that have been sitting on the back burner. You've already spent the money. Like, we know that some people are out of work right now. Both of my jobs are closed down. So Ryan's putting up probably one of the best games you could play in quarantine. No Man's Sky.
Consume your time.
The game is being updated and taken care of by Hello Games constantly. There's a community getting together and building together on a planet. They did an article about this. So they picked one portal glyph. Mm-hmm. It's just the same portal glyph all the way. So now they're all getting together That's the place to gather together for the isolation, and so like you can build with people. They're all there. They're hanging out. They're building in multiplayer. This game had a rough launch. You probably know the history. If you don't know the history, it started out, people were really mean about it. It wasn't what they expected. People had grander expectations than what actually came out.
Yeah.
Hello Games doubled down. They got quiet for a while. They did an alternate reality game, and then they got to work on their updates, and they've come so far. The latest update's name was Synthesis. There are things to do in space now. There's new space encounters.
There's new live ships.
There's new living ships. There's a lot of stuff going on in the game. It's a great time to play No Man's Sky if it's in your backlog, or just whatever game you've already bought. So we know that being out of work, it's hard. You're not making any extra money right now. A lot of us are applying for unemployment. So if you've got games in your backlog, download it and play it. Now's the time. You got the time.
Here's a free one that PlayStation just offered up was the new Call of Duty. It's a free multiplayer platform.
It's free.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, there's a free Apple iOS game, Alto's Journey. Alto's Journey?
Ooh.
It's like this kind of side-scrolling snowboarding sandboard through a desert. Beautiful music.
There's tons of demos out there you guys can download, find out.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Definitely download that.
Yes.
Try that out.
Free to play.
Awesome.
Doom Eternal just came out. If you want a new game.
They have a pretty good sale going on games right now. I know with PlayStation Network, they're lowering prices on some of their games to help with this quarantine and to help you guys stay indoors and stuff. I don't know.
And it's a social thing to do.
Yeah.
You can get online and talk to your friends. And they're a lobby away.
It's a good way to stay 6 feet apart. Xbox Live is probably doing the same stuff too. There's on multiple platforms you can find multiple games to play online with everybody. Even on computer games too. World of Warcraft. I have a lot of people that play that. They love it. And that's probably burning up servers right now, but that'd be a good one to get into if you're a PC.
I'd be interested to see how big the spike is.
Oh god, yeah.
Spike in usage. Up next,
cooking. Learn to cook.
As we got the rice cooker propped underneath this right now.
Hey, I put boxes anywhere I would eat man. Cooking, learn something new. Learn how to cook something new. Find the stuff you already have. Look in the cupboards. Look for recipes, what you have in your cupboards. There's a million apps out there that actually you plug in what you have in your cupboards and it can tell you what you can make with that stuff.
That's cool.
So try some different ones out. Try some different recipes. Try something new.
What's the latest new thing you've cooked or baked?
Nothing.
Nothing really?
Nothing.
Abby made, my wife made homemade rolls.
Ooh.
They turned out so good. And then she made some garlic butter to put into them. Chicken soup. This week she shredded some chicken in the KitchenAid, and we put that on a romaine lettuce and ate that like a taco.
Hell yeah.
So good.
And also too, if you guys are craving for some restaurant food and stuff, find out what restaurants are doing takeout orders or orders to go. A lot of the restaurants out there are doing that. Fast foods are only going to be open to drive-thrus.
Yeah.
If anything, shop local. And make sure if you guys do that or you use that service, a delivery service, please tip them. They need that assistance.
They're kind of on the front line.
Everybody who's in retail right now is on the front line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be kind to them.
If you're in a state where it's legal,
smoke some weed.
If you're out of work and you got nothing to do and you want to pass the time, or if you want this time to last longer perceptively.
Yeah. This is a harder thing to do because you do have to go out to the stores.
And we can't give legal advice about this. You have to use your discretion.
There are some companies that don't test for it, but be wary. You never know. You may have companies that will come back to test for it.
It'd be horrible to do RUAs during this time. That'd just be rude. Don't do that. If you're a company right now, don't do that.
Definitely limit. If you do go to the shops, please, if you are feeling any symptoms or stuff, don't go. Send somebody else to go pick up your stuff.
Yeah.
If you are a medical patient, and if your shop is a medical shop, see if they're offering like a curbside service. Call in ahead of times to the shops. See how busy they are. See if they have online ordering, so it makes your time going inside to that shop quicker. where you can just go in, say you have an order, pick it up, and go.
Are any dispensaries delivering right now?
Notice them. It's dispensaries in Washington can deliver.
Can't deliver right now.
In the states of Oregon and California, I know they can do delivery. Please also remember, if they're delivering, try to tip them if they allow that, you know.
The next thing, take up gardening. Get back in the garden if you are a gardener. My wife and I have been watching Monty Don on Netflix, and
just him.
Yeah, I mean, I was on YouTube by myself looking up gardens in Washington. I've really thrown myself into it. Planting time is about now to April. We've had the spring equinox was on March 19th. There's still a little bit of frost and cold in the mornings. It killed our aloe plant that we set out for a night. We accidentally left it out overnight.
Keep aloe indoors.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what was... I didn't put it outside.
Yeah.
Outside. But...
I'm going to blame other people.
I'm not going to say... I'm not going to drop names. Just, I didn't do it. We got some tomato plants that we're going to try to raise. It's about time to plant them. Got some lavender, some peas, watermelons, sunflowers, green beans.
And this is a good thing to start on making your own food. You know?
It's a great time to grow your own food. There's plenty of YouTube resources, gardening books, online guides for gardening. We're coming up on planting time in April and May for Washington State. We're looking at our yard and seeing where can we maybe we'll till up the ground and do rows of plants here. So we're really looking at our space differently and what can we start doing to save on groceries. And when you have that home garden, you're also social distancing. You're not going into the market to get things anymore. You have your fresh vegetables and fruits right in your garden.
And also remember, if you have to go out to get supplies and stuff like that, most big retailers do have online ordering.
They do. You don't have to go in.
They even have pickup caches, basically, in the store so that you can order all your stuff. It's in a secure box, and you just go punch in a code and get it.
It may feel like it's hard on the budget to start, but once you've started your garden/farm, you will be seeing savings later on, when especially those things that grow well in Washington: heads of lettuce, pumpkins, tomatoes, string beans, corn, leeks. Even there are quite a few things that do really well, and you just gotta check your soil and see what you can do. Get creative, try something. Another idea of something to do in quarantine is to take up journaling, or continuing your journals, or writing. This is probably perfect time for authors. They're probably getting tons of work done.
I think most authors like to be in isolation too.
Yeah, probably. And
I'm not dissing you if you're an author. I'm just saying, you like to write. You like to be isolated and within your thoughts and stuff.
Neither of us are ignorant to the fact that a lot of people have your kids home from school with a shutdown. So there was a joke on Twitter when Shakespeare was in isolation. He wrote King Lear. And people were like, no pressure, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the comments were obviously he didn't have kids. And we know a lot of you are probably homeschooling right now. Depending on the age of your kids or the social needs of your kids, they're probably not a set it and forget it kid. I'm homeschooling my 2 kids right now, but we're still doing Imagine Math and Imagine Learning.
And that is a big thing too. Make sure you're working with your teachers. If you have questions, email them, call them.
Yeah, there's a lot of resources.
There's a lot of resources that they have that they can give you. Mm-hmm. If you have technology and stuff, obviously you're probably watching this right now on some sort of technology, phone, iPad, computer, anything like that. You have their ways to find out to get those programs and keep your kids still engaged in school while their schools are closed.
Things like Imagine Math and Imagine Learning are done online, so if you need time away to do your writing or do something in the house, that's your time. When your kid is doing that online learning, you get to slip away for a bit and take care of something that you might want to take care of. Yeah.
Going into our next one is art. Learn some art.
Take up art.
Make a drawing. Do a painting. For those of you that want to combine journaling or story writing, do a comic.
That'd be sick.
Make a graphic novel. I know I have some friends out there that do comics. I mean, shout out to Brian Rogers out in Olympia there. I know he's been doing some really cool stuff. I really loved some of the stuff he's been putting up on Instagram right now. He gets the 0 variant cover, which is just usually a blank cover of the comic.
Yeah.
And he'll draw his own.
That's
and he
cool.
sells them off or auctions them off. I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, do some comic work, do some artwork.
I still have the commissions you got from him of Batman and Raphael.
Hell yeah.
I have to fix it's one of those cheap
Oh,
cardboard backed like slide on frames.
now's the time to find out.
I should fix that. I've got time. For people who need more of a social interaction in isolation.
Stimulant.
Yeah, social stimulation. You need a social stimulant. Stimulus package. Stimulant. I'm hung up on that word now.
Stimulant.
You need stimulation. You need some social time. You can play Dungeons and Dragons if you've been playing. If you're missing your campaign partners, there's ways to do that online, with Roll20.com being a big one that I've been a part of for a campaign. Discord for doing the audio, so you can audio chat. There's other ones I'm not familiar with, but I've seen some other names kicked around.
You can use all sorts of different programs to
people do it on like
chat,
Facebook,
basically.
And you can see everyone on your screen.
Yeah. I mean, Skype's a good way to do it too.
Yeah, so you can still do your campaigns and still see your friends, but you're doing it online. The technology's there. This is one of those things that I feel like there's a lot of times that it's like, wow, it's 2020 and we're still not this, like we're still living in the past. But right now, like, I think people are going to really discover how much is available right now here in the present to actually still kind of live your life through your technology and still see your friends and family. And there's been some really cool things on Twitter. I don't know what the Facebook verse is like right now.
Yeah.
Panic. Probably panic and anger and disgust.
Pretty much panic, anger, and disgust. Yes. At the idiots that like to go out and do this stuff, and your locals saying, what the
I'm just on Twitter nowadays, and I have a lot of content creators, and like No Clip is putting out another documentary real soon. Physics Girl, which the girls and I watched, and they were super into it. She did a video of 20 experiments in 5 minutes. She ended up taking 5 minutes 25 seconds, super close, but 20 experiments. One of them's like a lava lamp with, like caro oil or canola oil and water and food coloring and Alka-Seltzer. Other ones were lighting tea bags and watching the tea bags rise up. So if you have a knack for science or want to do, she has a whole video, Physics Girl. Check it out. It's on YouTube. You can find her Twitter too. There's a lot of pixel artists and indie game developers. There's some neat things coming out of this time that people are putting together. Some art that people finally have time for. There was like a Mufasa and Scar, but they're like upright kind of humanoids. And like Mufasa kind of looks like a Jason Momoa in a suit. He's got the tat on the arm. And Scar kind of looks like when Loki is in a business suit in the Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good stuff.
Good time to binge your TV shows you've been waiting to binge.
Which you're working on one right now.
Oh, I've been working on these all the time. I binge TV shows almost every week. Right now, going through That 70s Show, which is on Netflix. I've been watching Dave, which is on Hulu. Simpsons was on Hulu and also on Disney Plus. Disney Plus, you can watch through the new Mandalorian.
Wait, how soon?
They've canceled filming right now.
Oh.
Actually, no. I take that back. Season 2 filming had been finalized. This is a good time to watch all your favorite shows out there. Altered Carbon on Netflix.
Has a new season.
And they have
How
a
do you
new
like
season.
I'm having a hard time getting into it.
Yeah.
I like season 1 a lot. I'm having a little hard time getting into it.
Season 1's really cool. I'll have to go through it again to kind of get into it. That's the way it was the first one. First time watching season 1, it was kind of like...
I'm excited because it's,
and then I watched
they got the actor who played Falcon. Is he in one of the Black Mirror episodes?
He's in Black Mirror.
Yeah.
That's another good season. More of a kind of a sci-fi thriller series, which is really cool.
Might scare you away from some of the technology we're using in quarantine.
Some of them. The Office is another great show to binge watch. Parks and Recreation. If you're looking for comedy, those two I really like to watch.
Good Omens on Amazon Prime.
I watched the first season of The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Letterkenny on
Letterkenny
Hulu.
on Hulu.
Oh,
You
man.
guys gotta watch that one. That one, it's not a hard pass. It's a funny Canadian humor.
Yeah, that's a Texas size 10-4 there.
Yeah. You will be talking Letterkenny.
You'll start quoting it.
Yeah.
Probably after season 1.
Yeah.
Also a good time for movie marathon. The 9 Star Wars Skywalker saga plus Rogue One and Solo. Lord of the Rings Extended and Hobbit Extended.
I did it.
Now's your time. You can do viewing parties online.
Yeah.
You can say you're going to watch a movie, and then it's like a thread that you text each other, or you message each other in that thread. You're all watching the same movie, so you can have all your reactions.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a time to watch all that stuff. And like I said before, look out for all those apps that have the newer movies out that you can't go see in theaters right now. They have them up online to where you can just pay a little subscription or a little rental fee for the movie, and you can go and see it in your house.
I think the Batman is stalled.
Yep, the new Batman
Robert
movie
Pattinson's
is stalled.
the Batman, and it's
Mulan is stalled
so
too.
good. Mulan is they're pushing back the release date.
No, it's stalled. There's still some filming.
There's still some production.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There is some good stuff that is out there right now, and definitely go and find out. Just look up there's a bunch of information everywhere. You have the technology. You're watching on this technology. Look it up.
Yeah. If you're home with the kids and you need something a little less structured to do, you can build a structure out of pillows and blankets.
Hello, Ford.
Maybe put up a tent inside if you've got enough room. Kind of let loose a little bit. Like they were doing finger painting today.
Here's another one to do besides building forts. If you got them, play with Legos.
Yeah, they're doing good so far. Just playing.
Yeah. And
kind of having unstructured playtime within your own yard and go out and play in the yard. But just not everything has to be structured right now. Not everything has to be planned or mapped out. Let the kids play. Let the kids be kid. And be a kid yourself for a little bit, because you're going to need to unwind at some point.
Oh, yeah.
The more you're trying to do, you're going to think it's a distraction, but the kids playing is not a distraction. Don't get yourself caught up in a crunch. Maybe do the stressful things like applying for unemployment when they're in bed or resting or when they're watching a movie or something.
Remember, you all need you time during this time.
Use those extra rooms in the house.
Yeah.
Go in the kitchen. Split
Doesn't
up.
mean isolate yourself from everybody and just say goodbye. Just take some time.
Bit.
Yeah. And, when times come together, then do some family time. Board games is a really great way to do some stuff.
Maybe you could play Monopoly.
Don't play
Start
Monopoly.
to finish.
Don't play Monopoly. Monopoly is a good game, but it always ends up in someone flipping the board. Bankers get mad when they run out of money.
But
Find some of the board games that you may have in storage or something like that. Pull them out. You can also do that online if all of your friends have
board games online.
There's been chess players that I know that they play chess by doing that, and they'll call them up and they'll say like certain moves for their
rook to knight 5. I don't even know if that's a move.
But yeah, play some board games, play some card games. Teach your kids how to play poker. Teach your kids how to play Texas Hold'em. Teach them how to play Go Fish. These are games that a lot of people like to do camping and stuff too.
Pinochle.
Learn Magic.
Ooh. Learn some sleight of hand.
There you go.
This time. You realize there's a trend here. Like, do things that you've had on the back burner and then learn something new.
Yeah.
Like, we're looking a lot of 2020 is set aside for social distancing right now, the way it looks. So you're going to have some time.
Sources to look out for information about this stuff. Look at the CDC websites.
Also, World Health Organization, at WHO on Twitter. When the word came out, 250 people or less gathering, they were signing that as someone was already coming in and saying, no, make it 50. And then we had that announcement from the president about no more than 10, which is good. That's a good announcement. I think that information has been there for a while, but with ignoring intelligence at the time is not a good idea.
The main ones, listen to the CDC and the WHO, because they're going to know what's going on. Those people will know. what's going on.
Yeah.
You will be able to see up-to-date information from there.
Speaking of news and stuff, if you need a joke, you can check out Birds Aren't Real. The conspiracy is that they're using the COVID-19 shutdown to change the batteries in birds. But they're not. And then the person says, I'm here to tell the truth. It's not about changing batteries in birds. They're rechargeable.
There is a lot of stuff to do to keep you from going insane.
We came up with at least a dozen.
Honestly, this is just stuff that we're sitting around kind of thinking up. Just fun things we can do to kind of get your mind at ease, because that's what it's going to take.
It's definitely a time to stay home or within your own yard.
Yes. It's a staycation.
Yep.
It is not a vacation. Staycation.
Yeah. Any last comments?
Yeah, talking about harbor knots.
Yeah. We came up with an idea to try to do local news, history in Grays Harbor about Grays Harbor, and especially because there were a lot of historic things kind of happening.
Yes, Nirvana did come from Aberdeen.
Right.
But that's not the only thing that has happened.
There's other
in this
things.
town.
There are other things than Kurt Cobain in Aberdeen.
Yes.
Like Douglas Ocheroff is a Nobel Prize winner for superfluidity of helium.
Yep.
We have the Hoquiam Castle.
Beautiful location to visit.
We have Bowerman Field, an airport.
Polson Museum, big lumber industry makers.
We have the beach. We have Quinault an hour away, Quinault Lake. We have Lake Sylvia in Montesano. Mm-hmm. We have the Wynoochee River. We have farms, local farms. We have a rich history in logging. There's a lot more to Grays Harbor in the past and present. And also there's a humdrum that often repeated that there's nothing to do here. So we wanted to set out on a mission to show what things there are to do in Grays Harbor. And I guess that kind of fits our dozen things to do list. So hopefully everything turns out that we come out the other side of COVID-19. So we're the Harbor Knots. We're going to sign off and continue on with staying home. Probably turn back on that 70s show. Hey, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're from the Harbor Knots, a new exploration group for Grays Harbor.
So make sure to click that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and make sure to hit the bell for notifications when we get new episodes coming out for you.
Thank you. That was fun. How long was that? 47 minutes.
Blah 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 blah.
Hey, I'm Cameron.
Redo that because I was sitting there with a stupid face. I was like,
okay.